Welcome to another edition of the Insider Hoop Scoop. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the Mighty Joe Yeager. Well, Mighty Joe, we finally get to talk about a win after 2 straight losses. Man, Red Raiders bounce back, and I don't care who it is. You get a road win in the Big 12, it's worth celebrating. And man, they certainly did. After, I don't know if you saw the locker room video, but man, Chris Beard and the whole group really celebrated in their own special way.
Yeah, they did. They needed it in the worst way. And, you know, the thing is, Kansas State needed it in the worst way, too. I mean, they were 0 for in the Big 12, and I could tell that they had really circled that game. They thought this was one that they could win. They figured they could get Tech because, you know, Tech was down a little bit, lost a couple of games. Maybe their confidence was lagging a little bit. Shannon was out. I think K-State saw this as an opportunity to get an initial win in Big 12 play. And so, I mean, you could tell by the way that Bruce Weber was carrying on the sideline. And now he always does that a little bit, but
well, they were desperate for a win too. I mean, right? I mean, they needed a win. They were 0-4 going into that game.
Yeah. So it was a competitive, hard-fought game where both teams were playing very hard. And to come out of there without Shannon and still win by 14 points, you'll definitely take that. So it's a good win.
There's a couple of things that really stood out about that game. I think a lot of people are going to point to Kyler Edwards' game, and he had a tremendous performance. But, man, Kevin McCullough, to me, finally stepped up and played kind of like the alpha dog I was expecting. He had been kind of, I don't know, not gun-shy, but just a little timid. You know, like he wasn't sure he belonged. He showed up, and the way he banged the offensive boards especially, but just how active he was. He started bringing all those things to the table that we thought that he would going into the season from seeing, you know, his highlights before. I'm very hopeful that this could be like a coming out party for Kevin McCullough and that he can be a fixture in the rotation moving forward this season.
Yeah, he's got the ability, and I mean this was the first time that he really showed it. I mean, to be honest, he just really hadn't done much up to this point, you know, and he'd had his chances. You know, Beard was giving him some opportunities here and there. He had said previously, before the season started, this could be one of the greatest players to ever come through the program.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah.
Last time he said that was Jarrett Culver, who I think Big 12 Player of the Year, All-American, number 6 pick in the last NBA draft.
Right. And so, you know, I mean, he showed some of that now, and I loved his stuff that I saw from high school. I mean, the film that I saw of him, I thought, man, this is just about my favorite recruit, and that's high praise because there were a lot of good players in that class, a lot of good prospects. And so I was really looking forward to him, and I was wondering, I mean, man, did I miss on this guy a little bit? But you just got to be realistic. The guy had been sitting out all kinds of time because of that injury, you know, and here he is breaking into Big 12 play, maybe the toughest conference in all of college basketball. You know, it's not that easy. And so if this is where he turns the corner and really gets rolling, then that's highly acceptable. I mean, so the first half of his freshman season, he's not so great, and then from here on out, he's everything that you thought he could be. So that could really be a great thing for him and for Texas Tech. And I'll say this as well: K-State wanted Kevin McCullough very, very badly. You know, so I don't know if that was a little bit of extra motivation for McCullough, knowing what he does about the K-State program and everything. But boy, he sure showed up.
Yeah, and I love it when, someone goes out of the lineup and someone's given an opportunity and a kid steps up, and especially a kid like Kevin McCullough through the recruiting process. I mean, you get a glimpse of what some of these kids are like. You get to know them a little bit. Kevin's a guy I interviewed I don't know how many times through his recruitment. And yes, Kansas State, I mean, they gave it their all to land him. But the legacy, Kevin McCullough, you know, had an awesome commitment video, chose the Red Raiders, was given an opportunity, and he stepped up. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring the rest of his career. All right, so now the Red Raiders have Iowa State, the only team to beat Texas Tech here in Lubbock last year, which it was a good game up until the end when Tech lost. What does Tech need to do to get a W and, you know, keep this thing rolling, stay up in the top half of the Big 12?
Yeah, you know, I mean, to be perfectly honest, a lot of it is going to depend on which Iowa State team shows up. I mean, I think they're the most wildly inconsistent team in the Big 12 right now. They have premier talent. Yeah. They're not up there with Kansas, but they're right there with just about anybody else in the Big 12 in terms of raw talent. They have the ability to come out and beat anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, and I think this is a little bit has to do with Steve Prohm and the program that he runs, it's just a schizophrenic team.
Yeah.
If the bad, lousy Cyclones show up, then Tech's going to run them out of there by 25, 30 points.
Wow.
If, on the other hand, they play up to their potential, then it's going to be a battle pretty much right to the end. And, the main two guys that you have to worry about with Iowa State, obviously, Tyrese Halliburton, who's, I think he's the best player in the Big 12.
Wow.
Yeah, I really do. And I think he's possibly a lottery pick. He's just, man, I love point guards. Look,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a thing for point guards. And that guy's the point guard. I mean, he's kind of the definition of it. He's about a 6'5" guy, sees the
Really
floor,
strong, too,
just knows how to play the game. He's got a good jump shot. It's funky looking. It's a chest push shot, but it's pretty accurate. And he's added some mid-range game to his repertoire this year as well. So he's tougher to defend. So he's a better offensive and a scoring player. You got to really Tech's perimeter defense is going to have to be ready for him and for Rajier Bolton, the transfer out of Penn State. I think just this last game or game before last, he went off for 23, 25 points, something like that on somebody. He can get hot and he can torch you. So those are the two guys you got to look out for. Tech's perimeter defense, I mean, Jamias Ramsey has been a little bit inconsistent on the defensive end. You've seen the guy, bailing on pump fakes too often and getting a little bit out of position, not moving his feet. He's got all kinds of ability to play defense, but he needs to learn that discipline a little bit more and step up in that regard. And I hope to see Avery Benson and Clarence Nadoli as well. I think those are two potentially very, very good, or not even potentially, they are pretty good defensive players who can lock people up. Hopefully maybe they have a little bit of an expanded role in this game in containing Bolton and Halliburton. But with Halliburton, you're not going to shut him down.
Right.
You just try to limit the damage that he does.
I think Halliburton had a pretty good game here last year. He think Tech had a hard time guarding him last year.
Right.
But, a lot of people have had a hard time guarding Halliburton. So I'm really excited about this game. It's a big one. I think if Tech wants to accomplish a lot of their goals, they need to win games like this against a very good Iowa State squad. But Mighty Joe, great stuff from you as always. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.